All right. I am not a hugger or a close talker, and neither is Lois, so admittedly this is a little awkward for both of us. But welcome to a special Simply Fit podcast and a feature called Lifting with the Stars. Tonight we are going to be speaking with Lois, who is one of the few and proud people who I am confident is going to take it all the way, no pressure.
Oh, wow.
What I mean by all the way is that Lois was originally 304 pounds, and just last week she recorded her lowest weight since middle school. Lois, there are hundreds and thousands of people in the Buffalo area who would love to lose some weight, but they never do anything about it. So what got you started wanting to lose weight?
I had decided that enough was enough, that I was being overweight and unhealthy, and so I just made that decision to change my lifestyle, and a big motivator is my children and wanting to be able to do things with them. My daughter ran a 5K and I couldn't run it with her because I was so unhealthy, so I was like, you know what, this is that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So had you tried one strike? Had you tried to lose weight in the past before?
Oh yes, all my life. I've been overweight all my life. I've tried Weight Watchers multiple times. Back in the day, the Atkins diet, cabbage soup, that was delicious. If you fit your macros, a website online, but I never looked for professional help.
Right. And in trying any of those programs you just mentioned, had you been successful?
Here and there, but I always gained whatever I lost back, and usually more.
Yeah, and you and I have discussed before together, like over time we've discussed the science behind why none of those programs will work long term. But I'm curious, like what would happen to you typically? Because in my experience, when engaging in any of the programs that you just mentioned, anyone I know, they always drop some weight fairly quickly and then they put it all back on.
Correct, because once you drop the weight and you see results, then you get comfortable and you're like, oh, I'll just add this back in and that back in, and then it all goes out the window.
So what were your initial impressions of FitHouse?
Oh, that's great.
Wait, yeah?
We're not talking about crying in the corner yet, right?
No, we'll get to that.
So my friend Danielle was a faithful member, and she suggested that I call you, and I said, no, I'm not ready. I want to lose some more weight before I start strength training and weightlifting, because only fit people do that. And she's like, no, you're ready now. So then I called Chris, and well, here I am 2 years later.
Cool. 2 thumbs up to Danielle.
Oh yeah, it's Danielle, thank you.
And like it's crazy when I hear that, because the idea of being too overweight to lift and then needing to lose weight first, and it's so crazy because people seem to have this idea that you need to do cardio to lose weight first, and then you should do strength training, and then that's going to help you build some muscle to tone up, and like it just doesn't work like that. And you had mentioned to me before that you've tried walking in the past and it did not work. I'm curious, what is your exact program today that's working for you? So how many days per week do you weightlift?
4 days a week.
Okay, and do you do any cardio?
2 or 3 days a week I do some brisk walking.
Okay, so your cardio is brisk walking.
Correct.
All right, cool. And that's kind of crazy because like brisk walking does work. It didn't work for you in the past, but the reality is it works in conjunction with a proper weightlifting program and a proper nutrition program. And I remember when you first got started, I chose this very spot in the gym on purpose that we are sitting here today. I remember, for real though, you were so nervous our first meeting when we sat down. And I remember wanting to tell you, you should get started with 4 days a week of training. And I purposely did not, because I just got the vibe from you that you were like a 1 foot in the water kind of gal. Like you need to get 1 foot in, get comfortable, and then over time, once you had that confidence, we would make progress. And I specifically remember in this spot, you bench pressing and doing push-ups, and you were squatting down to a box. I remember you were having a very, very difficult time doing push-ups one day, to the point that I'm pretty sure I saw a tear. I don't know if you would admit to that right now.
I don't know, I don't recall.
No?
It was a long time ago.
Well, what do you remember about getting started?
I remember squatting onto the box. I remember being super sore after that, and not thinking that I would be eventually squatting with a bar on my back and lots of weight. So yeah, I've come a long way.
And I'm going to preface it by saying, like, we always try, and tell me if we did an okay job.
Okay.
I always like to say we like to meet people at their starting level. And like we met you at your starting level, and then you slowly build from there.
Correct.
And today, like over the last few years, you have gotten incredibly strong. So we were texting the other day, your deadlift max and your squat max are both over 200 pounds now. I think your deadlift max was 241 pounds, like 241 point something I came up with.
Gym math.
Which is incredible. Like, what do you enjoy the most about lifting?
Seeing that number go up each week, getting more and more strong. I like numbers.
Awesome.
So I like to look back and say, oh, at the beginning of this 3-week program, I was doing this weight, and now I'm doing this weight. So it pushes me to go further.
And can I add something?
Sure.
Like, it's cool as those numbers go up. If you've noticed, there's another number that consistently goes down for you over time as well. And that's the number on the scale. So, Lois, how do you manage? I can't tell you how often I hear this when somebody says, I don't have time to work out, or I don't have time for nutrition. How do you manage your nutrition and your training with the family?
So I would say you make time for what's important, and obviously nutrition and weight training is important to your health. So I wake up early, I'm here at 5:30 before my children are awake, my husband's awake, which is fun in the winter time. But I do that before we go to work, the kids go to school. As far as nutrition, they eat a lot of what I eat. Sometimes I'll make some little tweaks here and there. But yeah, meal prep, meal planning. But my daughter's involved in cooking with us too, so.
Well, that's awesome. So you make your kids part of the healthy process.
Yes, but we don't go crazy. I still allow them to have some stuff.
Yeah.
Like here and there, but.
Cool. And how do you manage your nutrition on the go? Like, I remember seeing you shared a picture on Facebook of you eating, I think it was in like a Tupperware container. You had baby carrots and chicken and something else in there at one of your children's athletic events. How do you manage that?
Planning ahead. So I always have stuff in the fridge to go. I've got chicken, ground turkey, turkey breasts, veggies, and if I know we have a soccer game or softball that night and I gotta bring something, then I pack it all up and eat on the sidelines because I know that I'm not going to McDonald's.
Your foresight is tremendous.
Thank you.
All right, now here's a question. What keeps you motivated? I often, like Gina and I, will see people get off to a strong start, and then that motivation like slowly wanes over time. What keeps you motivated?
The numbers, seeing the weight that I'm lifting go up and the weight that I'm weighing go down. Not every day, but it does go down. So yeah, the numbers and being able to lift things heavier than I was before. But some days I just don't feel like it, but you gotta do it anyways.
Awesome.
I'm not going back to where I was, so here I am.
I think that's the difference between motivation and discipline, right?
I think that's what they say.
Like, there's a girl that I'm training right now. She's down over 70 pounds since September. And we had trained in the past, and she did okay at first. She lost 20 pounds and then completely fell off the bandwagon. I didn't see her for a year, right? She comes back since September, and she has been killing it. Like, she's doing everything right. And she said to me the other day, she goes, I'm not motivated, I'm disciplined. I said, what's the difference? And she goes, motivated is like when you're in the good mood and you feel like doing something. Disciplined is when you're not in that good mood and you don't feel like doing it, you still get it done.
Correct. Very smart, whoever she is.
Jackie. Okay, so here's a question that you offer a really unique perspective on. What did you find easier? Losing the first 120 pounds or the current 26 pounds that you've lost since January?
So while both hard, I would say losing the large amount of weight was easier in that I was seeing bigger jumps on the scale. It was more noticeable, like in my clothes and pictures and stuff. And then the last 26 or whatever pounds has been difficult in a different way, where 1 week it might go up a little bit or down only a couple tenths of a pound. So I'm not seeing these huge jumps on the scale, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it's going down.
But
no, yeah, I totally get it. Oftentimes, the reason I ask this question is oftentimes we see people, you can kind of do anything for 3-4 weeks and you'll see some results, but then it's gonna stop right there. There'll be a plateau. You're never gonna continue past that point. So it's like you need to be doing the right thing consistently over time, but the right thing looks different at 300 pounds than it does at 250 pounds, than it does at 200 pounds. And you posted that picture last week that you were in the 150s, which is the first time you've seen that weight since middle school. Like the process of you getting from 180 to 170 was like pretty swimmingly and pretty easy, right?
Yes.
170 to 160 and getting into the 150s was like a couple month long process.
It was long. It was frustrating.
Well, I was a little, I never said anything to you. I keep I'm like emotionless. The reason I'm emotionless though is because I've done this so many times, either myself or with others. I know what it looks like losing that 10 pounds. And I know what it looks like using that next 10 pounds, losing that. But a lot of times when you're used to seeing the scale go down like 3 pounds every week or then 2 pounds every week, you're not used to that period where it's up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little. And I was hoping that you were going to stay, and I'm very pleased that you did, that you were going to stay on track. You burst through that, and it's very, very cool the place that you're at right now.
Yes, it was rough, but here we are.
All right, so for everyone out there listening, what are the top 3 tips that you have for someone wanting to lose weight?
Number 1, I would say enlist the help of a professional or professionals. I had done this for 40 years, well not 40, but most of my adult life on my own, thinking I could do it on my own, and it wasn't working, and so I'm happy to have a professional to help me.
Thank you very much. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, and Gina behind the camera as well. So yeah, I mean, it's worth the investment, the time, the money. Your health is your health, and so that would be my number 1 tip. Find accountability people. I love my peeps that I train with. Shout out to Pam and Callie. Woo-hoo. Hashtag BB. Well, she won't see this because she's not on Facebook. But anyways.
We'll put it on Insta.
Okay.
She does IG.
Yeah. But people to support you and encourage you and, celebrate your little wins with you. And my 3rd one was to track and weigh your food. So as mundane and annoying as it is, I still weigh my food. I track everything I eat because it's eye-opening. You could have a scoop of peanut butter and you think, oh, this is only a tablespoon, but really it's like 4. And that's very easy to do. So keep track of what you eat, be realistic. If you mess up, go on the next day. No big deal.
Got it. Love it. And what is the hardest obstacle that you've had to overcome in your weight loss journey?
For me, it's been the mental stuff. When you've been overweight and unhealthy your whole life and tried these things and failed over and over again, it's hard to not think that you're going to fail again or it's ever really going to happen, or eventually I'll gain the weight back. I didn't give away my fat clothes for a long time because I'm like, well, I might need them. So, but I gave them, they're gone now because I won't go back. So, but it's the mental thing, the eating, and even if it's eating grapes, like I can binge on grapes or baby carrots. So it's like, it's just a constant emotional, mental roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, that resonates with me. I think you can take this all the way. And you seemed shocked at first when I told you that. Like you didn't believe it was possible for you. And like it was something that was possible for other people, but for some reason it wouldn't happen for you. Now you've hit a weight that you haven't seen since middle school. What did that do for your motivation and what did it do for your drive?
Well, coming out of a couple months of the 160s and not really moving, summer was coming. I was like, all right, I'll take the summer off and kind of relax a little bit. But then when I saw that, I was like, whew, this is exciting. I can go even further. So I'm not taking the summer off, and I'm going to see where this takes me.
Love it. Now, I don't know who came up with this next question. What do you love most about Chris and Gina?
Oh, God. No pressure. I'll start with Gina. She's just a ray of sunshine. So positive and encouraging, and you guys kind of balance each other out. Where Chris will be like, no, you have boo boo. And Gina's like, oh, good job.
When have I ever said no, you're boo boo boo?
I don't know, I couldn't come up with an example.
All right, thanks. Now I know what you say about me behind my back. I appreciate that.
In
the same boat as Frank, I didn't realize it.
No, you write stuff down, so that's okay.
All right.
Frank does not. But I love your science. I love the science. And if I ask you, why am I doing this, or why are you making us do this, you always have a great reason. And whether I tune you out when you give the explanation or not, you've always got a great explanation.
Well, thank you. What advice would you give to someone who is on the fence about getting started?
just starts. I mean, make a phone call, send an email, a text. After I posted that picture of the scale last week, so many people reach out to me, and like I know that people want to get healthy, but I also know that it's hard to start and they don't know where to start. So hopefully if they're watching this and in this group, then that's a good start. But you just have to make the time, the commitment for it. Why wait? I mean, I was 42, 41 when I started, so even if you're older than me, you could still start.
Lois, you are a rock star.
Thank you.
Gina and I are both so proud of you, and as exciting as your successes thus far have been, we're even more excited about your future successes that we know are coming. And I am 100% certain that the best is yet to come. If anyone listening tonight can relate to anything we've discussed, maybe you're stuck and you're ready to take the next step in losing weight or getting strong or getting toned, just comment boom down below and Gina or I will reach out to you to discuss what next steps you can take to lose body fat, build muscle, and see incredible results. This is Chris Rambola for Gina Rambola and Lois O'Malley Marshall, wishing you a tremendous evening. Thank you for joining us tonight.